Hi friends, it's Brandon, and today I'll be your navigator as you learn about Ruth and Naomi. But before we get into that, I've got a quick confession. In case you haven't noticed, I'm Black. I was raised in a family that taught me to really appreciate and celebrate my Blackness. I inherited a rich family history of celebrating Black culture and struggling for equality. My father and his siblings were among the first Black students to integrate public schools in Nashville, Tennessee. So I was raised hearing things that many Black children hear, like, you've got to work twice as hard for white people to think that you're half as good. Or, be careful, you've got 2 strikes against you, you're Black. I was also raised to be suspicious of white people. As a result, it is sometimes hard to make friends with white people, even as an adult. Once, when I was in seminary, I met this guy named Garrett. Garrett was this grungy white guy from Alabama, and he had dreadlocks. When I first saw him, I immediately thought, who the heck is this kid? When someone introduced us, I attempted to make it very clear to Garrett that we had nothing in common, we had nothing to offer one another, and I was not interested in being his friend. One day in class, Garrett made a comment about how important it is for white people to be anti-racist and to struggle for justice in America and the world. The point was so significant, and I realized that maybe I'd read Garrett all wrong. Over the course of the next few weeks, Garrett and I became really good friends. We hung out all the time, singing, laughing, crying, eating, having meaningful conversations. At one point, I realized he'd become my best friend. Actually, it was like he was my brother. Looking back today, I can't figure out how that happened. How had I misjudged him so strongly at first? How in the world did a grungy white guy and a buttoned-up Black guy ever become such good friends? How did we each work past the weight of our histories and backgrounds to become brothers? Today's Bible story is about 2 women who had a similar experience, Ruth and Naomi. Ruth was Naomi's daughter-in-law, and after Ruth's husband, Naomi's son, passed away, Naomi wanted Ruth to go away and return to her birth family. They were from different communities. They didn't have a lot in common. Naomi didn't think that Ruth had anything to offer her, and she definitely didn't think that she had anything to offer Ruth. Naomi was not interested in a relationship. Still, Ruth clung to her and remained faithful to her, and eventually they came to know one another as family, mother and daughter. You know, sadly, it has become the norm to find differences between ourselves and others, and to push people away when they look different than us, worship differently, eat different foods, wear their hair a certain way, or speak a different language. The story of Ruth and Naomi teaches us that sometimes we can establish the most meaningful relationships with the people we most resist. And it's not just stories in the Bible. It's my experience too in my friendship with Garrett and so many others. But now it's your turn to explore this story further. Here are some questions to get you started. Have you ever misjudged someone when you first met them? What happened? Do you have any friendships with people who are different from you? How have those people loved and supported you?